miracle horse in front, and Lazarus has done it again.
It's all Fernando Bale, the champion, well clear of Waymore's Blues, and Fernando Bale won.
And welcome to Racing, Pacing and Chasing, episode 3 this week. I'm Aaron Bain, and again, I'm joined by Rocky Butterworth, my co-host tonight. Welcome, Rocky.
Thank you very much, mate. Great to be here tonight.
And what a show we've got in store. It's our exciting new racing program, just recapping. It's promoting all 3 codes, and we are proud to present this show that we call Racing, Pacing and Chasing. Each week we're looking to find you the winners, the losers, the ones we think that are hard luck stories. We've got plenty of interviews coming up tonight again. We had some cracking interviews.
Guest not this week.
Yeah, cracking interviews last week, and this week none better than Kirsten Mooney, a thoroughbred trainer as well. And third time lucky, we're joined by Sean Nowak from the Gawler
Finally found him. Very good of Matty to finally get him in. Headlock, straight in.
He's a popular man, Sean, but it's great to get them on the show tonight. I'm certainly looking forward to having a chat to both of those. So we have got an action-packed show to get into. But we must thank our sponsors first before we kick off, and that is the Prince Albert Gawler, a great little pub in the heart of Gawler. Great supporters of our show, and allow us to put this on week in, week out for our viewers.
Very good. Just before we start as well, mate, we have got an association with the Gawler Jockey Club with Shane Collins, who's as progressive as what we think we are with social media. And today at the Gawler races, we kicked off our association with the Piranha Media maiden handicap today. Which
No
is
better
terrific.
way to kick off with a maiden handicap.
Absolutely, and the winner was New Boy Fly, trained by Grant Young out at Murray Bridge.
Sounds a bit like you and your day.
And the pick 4 paid $26,000.
You had it?
I had it twice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So we're into that.
Yeah.
But very good of very good of Shane to come on board with us as well.
No, 100%. He was a great guest last week. They're doing a very proactive club, Gawler and Barossa Jockey Club, as is the Gawler Greyhounds as well, and we look forward to talking to Sean later. But we best get straight into it, right? We've got a big show to get into, so let's get straight into our racing show. Again, sponsored each week by the Gawler and Barossa Jockey Club, led by Shane Collins, as you said. So we'll let's get straight into it. There's plenty to get through. And welcome back to Racing, Pacing and Chasing. We're here now with our racing show into general news, Rocky, and let's kick off. Hugh Bowman. Big news.
We spoke about Huey last week, injuring his finger and jokingly saying if it was Winks he would have been somehow back on the horse, but he's missing this week, and he's missing a couple of terrific rides on Saturday. He's missing out on Osborne Bulls in the shorts. It's a $500,000 race, and then later in the day he's missing out on Happy Clapper, who's always in the market, always in the frame, and that's another $500,000 race as well. So there's a bit of not going in Huey's pocket this weekend, maybe.
I still question if Winks was around, if he would have bandaged it up. It's a debate many would be having at the kitchen table or the front bar, you could say. But
well, I reckon whoever jumped on Winks would have put the super glue in his saddle, mate. Try and get me out, Huey.
But it's interesting how he was riding Winks and Happy Clapper was always the bridesmaid, and now he's on Happy Clapper. They said, we want you aboard. But,
that's right.
So obviously Glenn Boss jumps aboard Happy Clapper this week in the Colgate Stakes, and James McDonald gets the steer on Osborne Bulls. So, to Osborne, both of them well in the market. Osborne Bull 650, third favourite in the shorts, and that's going to be a cracking race.
Well, he gets back Osborne Bulls and he comes home so hard. It must be fantastic to sit on a horse that's just mowing them down like that. Yeah, no, certainly. And moving straight along to we've got Sunlight, so she's second up this week. So a bit of a fan of yours. So you're a fan of her? I think she's a really, really good mare. She was a great filly as a 2 and 3 year old, and she's one that's been able to take that next step as a mare, which not a lot of them do, and stay at the very, very top. Last week it's only a 6-horse field, and she finished 5th, I think, and faded over the last 150. And on face value, people say, well, she looked a bit disappointing behind Red Zell, until you realise the quality of the horse that she was against. And also they ran on their last 600, a tick under 33, and she was still going pretty well. So she's had 1 placing out of 6 first up runs. So it's not her go. Unbeaten second up, which you'll find this week in the shorts, and I think $13 is pretty big value for her.
I've just seen $15, so she has drifted.
Wow.
So if you've taken 13s, you might want to cash your bet in and take a little bit longer. But we talked about last week about Classique Legend and Red Zell, and Classique Legend is the favourite in the shorts. It's come up at $4, and Red Zell $4.80. So it's going to be a great battle there. Obviously, those two are much heat around. McAvoy taking the ride on Red Zell, but as we said last week, you couldn't get off Red Zell, really. She's
been a funny horse, betting-wise, the last 3 or 4 starts, Red Zell, that they just keep offering up a price that you say, I want to back her. And we said last week, 15 million in the bank. but they're still dishing up 7s and nearly $5 on a horse that's that good.
Yeah, they want to keep potting champions, but I'm sure the team behind them would happily take it, and plenty of owners. It's a great group of owners as well.
Yep.
Moving along to Caulfield on Saturday, so we do have the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes over the 1400, and one of the his feet, he's some chance at $11. Dispatch, owned by our very close mate in Graham Fisher.
Yes, fantastic.
He'll be making the trip over. There's no
Who's
ABR runners. There's no ABR runners at Globe on Saturday night, so I reckon Fisher.
Do you reckon he'll put ABR horses before?
Absolutely not. He hasn't before, and no doubt he wouldn't. I'd be going to the Sir Rupert Clarke.
Yeah.
But, he's certainly right in the market at $11. The Sir, it will be an interesting race. You got some good up and coming sprinters like Be Good to Your Mother. What a great name that is.
It is a good name.
$3.60. The old war horse, Blackheart Bart, 9-year-old now, he's back.
Well, it was trained by Darren Weir, the infamous Darren Weir, and then was actually retired as an 8-year-old. And Lindsay Smith from Perth has grabbed on of it and said, I reckon I can get another win or two out of it. I don't know whether he's dreaming or not, but gee, he ran home well first up as well, Blackheart Bart. So he's got to be in the race because he's just a unbelievable try.
Yeah.
He never thinks he's beaten. So
you'd expect him to finish in the top half of the field, and at $71, he's going to be close enough if handy. So it is the first Group 1 for the spring at Caulfield, and I was just going through the list of the group, the Group 1s we've got coming up. We talk about the Spring Carnival. You've got obviously the start with the Sir Rupert Clarke, and then in a few weeks' time we lead into the Everest and the Kosciuszko on the same day. And then we really heat up with the Caulfield Cups, the Cox Plate, the Melbourne Cup. It just doesn't get any better. And what a time of year to be starting this show and talking about things.
No, that's right. And I mean, I've been to the last 15 Rupert Clarke meetings, not for any reason except I go over to watch the footy every prelim final weekend, which coincides with the Rupert Clarke. And because it is the first Group 1, the crowd is massive for a standard Saturday, really, except for a couple of group races. But everyone goes to the birdcage to look at the superstars either having their first or second up run in the first Group 1. It's a terrific day at the races.
Can our golden girl Jamie Carr do the 2 Group 1s in a row? She obviously gadding last week in the Mackay Diva. This week she rides a single figure shot. I think Sosa Bond might be $8 or $9, but got a very good chance.
He's in the form of his life, Sosa Bond, and he goes very, very well at Caulfield. It's taken him 5 years to work the horse out, but I think the Hayes camp has found it, and he's a live chance. Yeah,
100%. What a story that'd be.
Yeah.
Moving back to Adelaide, so we come back to home soil as well. There is plenty going on all over the country. We've got at Morphettville the Tokyo City Cup, and that's $100,000 over the 1,800 metres. Couple to feature in that. Last week's Balaclava Cup winner Brown Ben well in the market. It's $8, and a good mate of mine owns Tatouche as well, $7. So he might even be making a trip over from Port Lincoln. So it's an even field. There's no standouts in the race, but good to see the action starting to heat up at Morphettville as well.
Well, we spoke about this last week as well, that the Balaclava Cup was all SA jockeys and all SA trainers, so all the money stayed here. It looked like there was going to be a couple of Victorians coming over for this $100,000 race, but I reckon the majority of the live chances are South Australian horses, South Australian jockeys, so it's terrific to see that as well.
Yeah, 100%. Now, two other things I want to touch on. I think hot topics. Arcadia Queen, the Theo Marks last week, very impressive. There was a big build-up to her, and Chris Waller's just produced another star mare. Big spring ahead for Arcadia Queen, and much hype going into the Everest. She's
a star. Just pure pace.
Second one, Mystic Journey. I know it got beat to Gadding. I was still happy with its run from the outside looking in, but probably what I want to just touch on a little bit is the barrage that Adam Trinder's copped on social media, and also phone calls. You talk about in the mounting yard after the race. Unfortunately, and I read Tony McAvoy's comment, and I read the story quite in depth. It is this day and age, and as he said a decade ago, you would have had to front up eye to eye to the person to get that across. If you wanted to say something, and there was none of that, but. Adam Trinder's done a wonderful job with this horse, and full credit to him. He's got this horse over from Tasmania, come here, he settled it into different surrounds a couple of times now. He's made the decision to take it home, and it was on a 10 o'clock, the boat, the 10 o'clock the next morning, to prepare it and be back for the Cox Plate. Give the man a break.
Well, mate, there's 2 trainers out of Tasmania. One is Adam Trinder, and the other one is Scott Brunton. If they bring horses over to the mainland, you might as well back them. They are such good trainers, and their horses just maintain form. You don't ever see a 9 or a 0 in the form of their horses. They bring them here because they think they can win every race they're in, and pretty much they're in the top 4 every time. And that horse just things didn't go its way, but.
Didn't go its way, but you don't expect to get beat by 100. You don't expect to get beat by 101 pot. And I just must add, for people to, slanderous comments against Adam and the horse. This is why people and the public watch racing for horses like Mystic Journey, and probably a bit harsh to be touted the next Winks at times, but it's a horse that we turn the TV on, and you wanted to watch Mystic Journey, the excitement machine she was, and there is that doubt leading into each race. Will she? Won't she? That's what racing's about this time of year.
Would they have carried on if the winner was 9-2?
100%, no. If it was the second favourite, it went down a lip. Gadding, well done to the connections. They come over from Perth. They've done an excellent job as well. But full credit to that. Mystic Journey hasn't lost me as a Mara. I'm looking forward to the Cox Plate.
Way.
Anyway, that's a great general news wrap up for our racing show this week. But we better get straight into our first segment, which is 3 wide no cover, thanks to our sponsors at Punt Club. So let's get straight into it. 3 wide no cover. And back with our segment 3 wide no cover. So thanks to our sponsor Punt Club. Rock, we're going to go over to you. You like finding one of those hard luck stories for our punters.
Oh mate, I've been waiting for the show since I saw this replay on Saturday night. It's a horse called Nipperkin that I found at Morphettville in the replays. Race 6, number 6. Mate, it settled last.
Write that down. Race 6. Right. Okay. Better go back and watch this.
Yep. It settled last on the fence. It was still last at the top of the straight, and jockey brought one off the fence, then went back down. Still last at the 200, and then finally got to the outside and just rocketed home over the last 200. Still been beaten a length, but I reckon we watch the replay here, mate, and you have a look at the Barry Brook train gelding in the brown colours with white spots and a green cap, and it is airborne in the last 150 metres. Probably makes up 5 lengths to get beaten a length, and was in front 30 metres after the line. So let's have a look at this.
They draw to the line. Aguilet.
Well, Rock, race 6, number 6 is an eye catcher certainly, and I'll be with you next start.
Good on you, mate.
Black book it. So we go to Rose Hill. Watch Dyslexic here in the Team Hawks barn. That team absolutely airborne, the Hawks barn at the moment.
Yep, they
Travelled
are.
in the race beautifully. Ran into it, then fell apart for Jay Ford trying to find a run. That's a typical hard luck story.
Yep.
They got home the last 633.5. We talk about Sunlight and Red Zerl just clocking 33. It's run 33.5, and Dyslexic was half pace for at least the last 100, just climbing over their hills.
Yep, saw the race.
Started 9.50, but you won't see those odds again because Butterworth, you'll be on.
I'll be on.
You'll be on. But watch for the light blue colours on the fence, and then put the name in your black book. Let's have a look at the replay now, the last 150 metres.
On the outside, it's Fasika, Champagne Cuddles. Dyslexic still can't get out. Mizzy's kicking back on the rails. It's Mizzy in front from Champagne Cuddles. Fasika. Mizzy's going to win. Mizzy by a half length to Fasika. Then Champagne Cuddles. What a nightmare there for Dyslexic.
Put that in your black book, Rock. Dyslexic from the Team Hawks barn.
Don't have pockets big enough, mate. You back those two?
Well, you've got plenty of big pockets. You had you told me you had the first 4 in the Piranha Media maiden handicap today at Gawler. So
Twice.
Twice, yeah. So no, that was 52,000. I've done the sums. So you can spare $50 for both those each way next start.
Yep.
3 wide no cover, thanks to our great support of Punt Club.
Terrific.
Download the app today, and let's get your syndicate ready. I'll be on your syndicate, just you and me this year. If you're going to invest and win that sort of money, start building your bank like you already have for Melbourne Cup this year. But it's a stress-free way to run a syndicate, and they're a great.
Well,
team
everyone
to jump
knows,
aboard.
mate. You start a syndicate with mates at a pub, and you think this is going to be great. We'll get 10 of us in, and we'll put in $5 a week, and by about round 4. Some blokes are $15 behind. So this just does it all for you. It's perfect.
Yeah, 100%. So that's our 3 wide no cover segment. We'll be back with In the Money. Back with In the Money, thanks to the Women in Racing magazine. And Rock, you found one in Spanish Whisper.
I did. I followed Spanish Whisper last time in, and I got tipped it numerous times, and it didn't fire. It just wouldn't settle. I actually saw it rip at Clark Stakes Day this time last year, and it was tipped to me by numerous punters, and in the parade ring it just sweated up, and it was gone before it got out in the track. It still had a preparation where it could finish 5th, 6th, 7th, but you just feel like if the Hayes camp is spruiking a horse like that, they obviously see something at home, and it just didn't bring it to the races. This time in, it's had 2 starts for a terrific second, and then the last start at 1 at Flemington. It hasn't got super top speed, but it's always on the pace. It's always in the race. So when they do sprint up, he's got that 4 or 5 lengths head start on the ones coming from the rear, and he's tough. And I reckon that this time in, she's going to be a really strong mare. They've nominated for the Epsom Handicap, so when you see things like that, I reckon that they've still got that massive opinion of the horse. Now, it may not go, it'll get them a lightweight and be a live chance, but if they want to do that and then stay in Melbourne for the mares races, she's going to be competitive at whatever she goes in this spring, I reckon.
I reckon if you follow racing, pacing and chasing, you won't go wrong this spring with some of these tips.
Plenty of winners.
Black bookers everywhere.
Yep.
In the money this week, Spanish Whisper for this week, thanks to our Ladies in Racing magazine. Jump on to www.ladiesinracingmagazine.com.au and subscribe today, the only national publication dedicated to women.
Yep.
In the sport of kings, and at just $33 per year, not
So
per
cheap.
week, $33 per year subscription. Why are you waiting?
Yeah, too right.
Anyway, Rock, time to clear the diary.
Yep.
You've been a big footy man, and the footy dust's about to settle. 2 weeks,
It
you're
is.
going over for the prelim final, and you will be dusty on Monday morning when you return to Adelaide. But it's time to put our concentration into horse racing. We did mention before all the Group 1s coming up,
Yep.
and we're looming towards the Caulfield Cup. That's only, you could say, 4 weeks away now.
Well, how's the increase in prize money there?
Unbelievable.
66% on last year.
You put some of your first 4 money towards it.
Wow. No, they don't see that, mate.
Yes, they do. They see it back.
But to increase it by that much in 1 year, they've got one goal in mind, haven't they? And that is get all the internationals over earlier, and maybe bring a partner for the Melbourne Cup that isn't such a good chance in the mile-and-a-half race of Caulfield Cup, but bring another one that they think can win the Caulfield Cup. You wait this year, mate, there'll be internationals chock-a-block in the Caulfield Cup, and our good stayers will be competing in that and the Melbourne Cup. There'll be no sitting it for one or the other, like they have done the last 5 years. I mean, Bart Cummings was the best at winning the Caulfield Cup and then winning the Melbourne Cup with the same horse. That kind of stopped a while ago, in about 1999, I think it was maybe Might and Power. But since then, it's been set for one. They won't do that this year. They'll be wanting to get the $5 million curtain raiser of the Caulfield Cup into
Not a bad curtain raiser.
into whatever.
But
the
just
Melbourne
some of the
Cup.
money on offer with the Everest and the Golden Eagle. We talk
gee.
about the Golden Eagle as well. So Melbourne competing hard against Sydney there. So it's a great time of year, and with the money going around, it's only increasing. But last year's Melbourne Cup winner Yucatan is currently favourite for the Caulfield Cup. But it's 4 weeks out, and they're still betting $15 the field, basically. It
hasn't run since last Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup, mate.
Right, it'll be sitting there in the Lloyd Williams camp somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and the best of the locals, obviously, Mr. Quickie. Good run, ran third on the weekend, $16. So just timing into it nicely, and that team's certainly flying as well.
It's that time of the year, mate, where you've just got to take a chance on the horse that you like, because they only have to run one really good race and they'll go from 16s to 6s before you know it. And then you won't back it at all because you say, oh, not backing that, I've missed the 16s, and find something else to lose your money on. So to me, if you like a horse in the Melbourne Caulfield Cups, back them now.
What's yours that you can think you do the double? Just quickly for punters. We've set in the money, but what's yours?
I really do like Mr. Quickie in the Caulfield Cup. It's going to get him with a lightweight, and it'll race midfield to a bit closer than that. I think it's a really good chance in the Caulfield Cup as a local horse. Melbourne Cup, unfortunately, right now, mate, I wouldn't have a clue. I just think the internationals hold too much sway in the form of what's going on, and until they actually start racing, you just don't know.
And we are going to build towards that excitement of the Caulfield Cup.
We will.
Weeks after that, we go into the Melbourne Cup. It was Cox Plate and then the Melbourne Cup. So we'll, as we start to heat up there, we'll do some more in-depth previews to those races. But that's all for our racing segment this week. As we said, we do have special guest on very shortly in Kirsten Mooney, thoroughbred trainer herself.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
And no doubt she'll be talking spring racing. Not this year, but that as a trainer in general, in thoroughbred racing in general. That's that's where the pinnacle they want to be.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but we must thank, before we go, our great sponsors of the racing show each week. Obviously, the Prince Albert Gawler Hotel, Punt Club, Ladies in Racing Magazine, the Gawler Jockey Club, and Flurio Milk and Co. So, all of those sponsors help us. They all love a punt.
They all love a punt.
So we'll no doubt help try and find them a winner. But been a lot to get through for the racing show this week. Look forward to joining you next week as well. But we've got some big news coming next week in the racing segment. We'll leave it at that for our viewers, but there is some big news on the table. It might be that you're only on for a short stint and I'm joined by a big name in the seat.
Could be the coup of South Australian racing and TV production, I reckon, mate.
Media star on the rise. We'll leave it at that, and we'll touch base again later in the show. But the name will be revealed next week. But a fortnight, they'll be on the show. I won't say male or female.
No.
Thanks, viewers. That's all for our racing show of Racing, Pacing and Chasing. It's been a pleasure to be with you for this week, and we look forward to being back with you this time next week. And welcome back to Racing, Pacing and Chasing. Our first special guest on the segment tonight, we have Kirsten Mooney, thoroughbred trainer, training at Oakbank. Kirsten, welcome.
Thanks, Bain. Good to be here.
It's great to have you on the show, and it's good to get a trainer in. Our first trainer, we had Jake, he was on the harness, but first thoroughbred trainer. So we're going to talk all things Kirsten Mooney racing, and we'll kick off with, obviously you train at the Oakbank facility, you're on your own property, you use the Oakbank track a lot, but firstly, how many work at the current time?
We've got about 80 in work at the moment. And that's sort of, we try and keep it 6 to 10. That sort of fits in with our regime, and we like to have the balance perfect. So
and it is a little boutique team, and probably the biggest. It is a great asset to probably have your own facility there at Oakbank. It is a great facility out there. Probably a great change of scenery.
Exactly.
For horses.
Yeah. For Morville trained horses or city trained horses, they come up to our place and they seem to thrive. They've all got the chance to be out in paddocks and big yards, and then they've got they can come into the boxes at night. Lots of green grass for them to pick on, and they can we've got our own little trotting and cantering track. We've got jumps, we've got a set of gates. And then we've got the Oakbank Racecourse up the road.
So your own little Lindsay Park as such.
And we do a bit of swimming up the road too, and a purpose-built pool that's a dam converted to a pool. We've got a lot of different options.
And you talk about those those Adelaide horses that come out that change of scenery. No other better example than By the Pound, last start winner at Mildura.
We only bought him probably 6 weeks before the run, and he got up to our place and really blossomed, and he won really well the other day. So
he was first up. First up.
After a short little break. He's really thrived. Just loves it up there. So it's great. It's great to be able to do that and have that sort of facility, especially this time of the year.
Yeah, 100%. And you've got a new group of owners in on him. I think there are a lot of some first-time owners.
Some that have reinvested, and some old friends as well as a couple of new guys. So it's
always good to get a winner.
Yeah, that's right.
Get the monkey off the back early.
Exactly. 10 to 1.
10 to 1, so they would have had something on as well. Probably the trainer did as well by the sounds of that. But anyway, that's all right. Very confident. But you've had some. You do a good job with those tried horses, you could say, and a couple of the other examples in recent times at Our Snippy and El Senor.
We bought Our Snippy as a yearling. We only paid about $15,000 for him, and he went on and he won over 200, and he was a really good.
He probably seemed to be an older because he was prep after prep. You managed him very well. It was the twilight of his career. He's a very special horse to us and our family, and he'll have a home for life on our property. And he was a ripper. He won Oakbank. He raced. I think the furthest he finished back was second. He either won or ran second. And he won the final of Sprint Series, which was a $100,000 race. So that would have been a great thrill in itself.
Amazing. It was a terrific day.
So he retired 3 years ago now, and
about that. Unfortunately.
And then the other one we touched on, El Senor, probably a decade ago. You could say,
but he was probably my first good horse. Dad bought him as an 8-year-old tried horse from Melbourne, and he was terrific. He just went year after year till he was 12. And he won, I think, 3 Cup Day sprints at Swan Hill, and he was just a really good horse to the stable and really kicked us off.
And you're leading into my next question there. You talk about Swan Hill. You do like travelling across the border a bit with your Milduras and Swan Hills, and we talk about By the Pound winning at Mildura last start. You often see a Kirsten Mooney runner at Mildura or Swan Hill, and they are. You're always right amongst them up there.
You've got to take the right horses there. They've got to be ready to race well. I think that's the key. There's no point taking horses there that are not going to be competitive. But we also find that the trip away does them the world of good. We always stay at nice places, and for some horses it's just the something different, But they've got to be placed in the right races all the same.
And it's a bit of a good getaway for yourself and the kids
great.
and
We
Michael.
love it. We love it.
You seem when you go to Mildura, you're away for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
You make a holiday.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good fun. The kids love it, so that's part of it.
Yeah. And obviously, we you touch on the city class horses. That's your goal. Your goal. You want more city class horses in the stable.
Yeah.
But they're a hard thing to find.
They
as well.
are, and we've had some city. We've always seemed to have in the stable a city class horse, but it's not easy. We had Tycoon Sophie and Groove with Me. He's dropped down a few rungs now, but they're sort of our most recent ones. And I guess when you're running around for 40, 50,000 plus, it's good money.
Yeah.
And if you can buy a horse that can be competitive at that level, then it's well worth investing.
Yeah. And it's probably a rather tough question, but how do you see racing in general in South Australia at the moment? It's there's a lot of negativity, some positive talk after the recent government announcement, but still a lot of people sitting on the fence. How do you see it?
Look, from our point of view, I think it's going along okay from our point of view, but I can see from the bigger end of town it is struggling, and like Tony McAvoy, trainers like that, they can't really make ends meet here like they can in Victoria. But in saying that, the recent boosts that we've had, it's still good money.
Yeah.
As I said, from our point of view, it's okay, but I can see why some trainers are getting a bit hot under the collar, because at the end of the day, trainers break even with their training costs. And so you've got to really be winning races to get that cream.
Yeah.
And if the cream's not good enough, well, you've got to look for it.
Yeah, 100%. That's where you look for it across the board.
Yeah, we
bit,
do.
So you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Just touching on that, probably, what's the race you're most set out to win? What's Kirsten Mooney's goal or ambition that you're satisfied in 10 years, 20 years time that I've won that race? I've done that.
Oh, look, the immediate goal is always to get city winners, but then the ambition or the dream, runners in the Spring Carnival in Melbourne, that's just the epitome.
Yeah.
Cox Plate, I've never been to a Cox Plate, but the Spring Carnival week is just amazing. I've been quite a few times, probably went 10 years in a row for the week, and I just remember thinking then, well, before I was training and then when I was training, this is the dream.
I nearly won a nil cup with you. I know that was a dream at that time.
Oh, no comparison.
Snip and run, but I don't know what a Cox Plate is.
We won a quad and book cup.
Yeah, can you say that again? Can you spell that for me? What do we? Yeah.
That was a thrill.
That certainly was a thrill. Yeah, but no, your stable does tick along very nicely from week to week, and I think specialising in that 6 to 10, you do very well. You've got a good support team with obviously Michael, your husband, and you specialise in feet. With horse with bad feet.
Yeah.
We touched on that. And, him being a farrier, you've got your dad as great support as well.
Yeah.
And always, got a great knowledge base in Graham.
Yeah.
Just maybe tell us a little bit about that, and the kids are here, here as well. They no doubt out cleaning the stables, or. Oh
well, they're a big help. But Michael, my husband, being a farrier, he's. We do this together. It's I'm the name, but it is definitely a joint effort, 100%. We love it. It's our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's he's very, very good with bad-footed horses. So it's wonderful to have him on side and be able to fix these horses that maybe have foot issues.
Yeah, and that's probably why you get these second and third and fourth preps out of these older horses. You do very well.
Look after them.
Look after them certainly very well. Well, that's all tonight. It's been certainly a great little interview with you, I could say. We could probably sit here and talk for half an hour and go on and on, but. People, to our viewers out there, to hear firsthand from yourself, Kirsten, and probably just touch on finally, you do like to attract new owners to the stable, and it's a big thing for all trainers, both in all three codes that we talk about. Maybe just touch on that briefly. Well,
we did buy a yearling this year from the sales and syndicated her, but we've got a few young horses coming on, and we're not just all about tried horses. We like a bit of a balance.
Yep.
But certainly tried horses are probably the way we go. But we also have young horses coming up, and also always looking for new owners. And it's a great fun industry, and you know, if there's people out there that have never invested before, get involved, because there's no thrill like owning a winner.
The Quantum Book Cup, I know firsthand. But yes, easily contactable on Facebook. You're very active on social media. So for anyone out there that would like to get involved or doesn't know how to jump on the Kirsten Mooney Racing Facebook page, and all the details on there you can follow through. So, and no doubt this interview will go up on there, and we can, you know, for all your owners to see and view as well. So thank you for joining us tonight, Kirsten, and all the best. Hopefully we'll certainly watch By the Pound very closely over the coming months, and you know, hopefully there's a Quantum Book Cup in him or two for you. We'll see how we go. But again, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back after a short break. And welcome back to our pacing segment of Racing, Pacing and Chasing. I'm Aaron Bain, and I'm joined by my co-host tonight, Rocky Butterworth. Welcome, Rocky.
Good to be here, mate.
And we must add, before we get into it, we've got a lot to get through, but the Kapunda Harness Racing Club, we thank them for their support week in, week
terrific.
out.
Yep.
Great club to have on board. But our show, Racing, Pacing and Chasing, the major sponsor of the show, the Prince Albert Hotel in Gawler, or Prince Albert Gawler. So we thank them for their support as well, week in, week out. So
through the main man, Matty Knight, as well, of course.
Done a great job getting them on board, and you know, we love getting sponsors on board and also helping promote their business. And without them, this show can't go on and bring you, our viewers, the winners week in, week out.
Exactly.
So a bit to get through, and just local news, but we had Wayne Hill on the show last week for racing, and we spoke a bit about the brother-sister rivalry between him and Danny, and we said, you know, Wayne, I jokingly said he was on track to drive 300 winners. He'd started with a massive bang in the first 10 days of the season, but I think Danny got word of that and listened to the interview, because she said, step aside, young brother, or young, I'm not sure if it's young or old, but 14 races on the weekend at Globe Derby. She didn't drive in one of them. She had a rest. So she had 13 races. She won 6 of them, placed in 4 of them, and she was one of them was a beaten favourite that ran last. Obviously something wrong with Rocktel's, very talented horse. So she should well have won 7 of the 13, 7 of the 14 for the weekend. She's on fire.
Well, both of them are. Wayne and Danny are on fire. You kind of hope that Ryan's stable starts firing up so he keeps driving winners, and, you know, maybe Kenny again might find a stable that he can attach himself to, like he did with DK. And have a little bit more competition. But those two just put the foot down from first meeting to the last meeting, don't they? They are at it.
And you don't only talk Globe, do we? Talk Mildura as well. Mildura we had a quiet week with no Mildura last week. We come into Mildura next Tuesday, so they got Globe Saturday night, Globe Monday, then they go to Mildura Tuesday. Their week's action packed. But I said on the first episode I was looking forward to the battle of Chris Waller and James McDonald over the spring and this season. The battle of Danny versus Wayne, I reckon that's really going to heat up. They're 9 wins and 7 apiece. Danny leads the way. I reckon it's going to seesaw, and there'll be, if we say 52 weeks of the year, there might well be 40 lead changes, and I reckon we monitor that battle very closely on this show.
I think for the sake of the show, maybe chuck a bit of petrol and a couple of fires with them as well, and really get the animosity going between them.
Should we do a good drive and a bad drive each week of them? Or
for the hills?
Yeah. We'll give them the best drive of the week and the worst drive out of the 2.
That's good.
Yeah, one's got to be one and one's the other.
Yep.
I'm just sorry, but I reckon we might pop Wayne more than we pop Danny. We all love Danny. Wayne might be able to take it better than Danny. But anyway, that's all right. I'll tell you another one that's firing. Well, there's another 2 stables that have caught my eye in the first 3 weeks of the new season, and full credit to both of them. Shane Loon, stable absolutely firing at the moment with 5 winners, and what a great start to the season.
It is. He's done a really good job. I mean, he's got Hockey Greg there now that you had in your stable for a while. Then went over to Scotty Ewan, and then Keith Routley had it, and every one of those 3 could get it to run about 2 minutes or just under.
2.5 in my books, but
and then it goes to Shane, and it's cracking 2-minute mile rates. And its last win, it sort of stalled at the top of the straight and then found again. So full credit to Shane. He's got his horses going very well.
No, certainly. And coming into the claiming series, which the HRSA announced last week, he'll certainly feature very prominently in that. And
he will
no doubt be out claiming a few horses in the next week, 10 days before they have to be in his name for that series. So the other one is Claire Goble, which she's had 9 starters for this season in 3 weeks, 4 winners, 4 placings, 3 on the weekend. Just really does a great job with a boutique team, and we touched on Kirsten Mooney working that 6 to 10 in the galloping world, and that's probably the Claire Goble of harness racing. Really.
She's done this for years, mate. Yeah. She's just done her job year in, year out with particularly the Clarendon horses.
Yes.
But they just,
one of them won on the weekend, Clarendon Dazzle.
They're just so consistent. She takes them to the races very regularly.
Yeah.
and they just don't disappoint.
Yeah.
I think she does a terrific job and minds her own business out there and just trains winners.
We'll talk about it later in the show, but the drive on, we'll watch the replay, because the drive on Canada Bay, I actually didn't watch the race live. I was gearing horses up at the time, and when I went back, I was watching Sky Channel that night, and someone said, Drive of the Night, Ken Rogers on Canada Bay, and we'll talk about that later in the End of the Money segment, because I tell you what, and when we watch the replay, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but one to be sort of, to be seen to be believed, really.
Yeah.
Also, just touching on, we had a special mention to Don't Tell William last week in our run of the week, and good luck to Toby Ryan this week. He heads over to Melton for effectively what we used to know as the MO, is the 70 to 79 now. And drawn barrier 2, probably got the, they may well drive him the same way and light him up. It's only over the short. If they light him up and get across, and he can find himself leaders back at Melton, I tell you what, Toby's going to have him right in that. And full credit to Lisa's driving as well, and good luck to them. They do a magnificent job, Toby and Lisa. Great people with it as well.
He's one, mate, I love what he's doing now, because he had that spell of maybe 6 months where his horses...
Over-racing and
he couldn't find the winners.
Yeah.
And then he started to get a cup, and all of a sudden he's back in a bigger way than he's ever been. And this horse just looks happy, fit, really, really healthy.
Yeah.
He's got it flying, and it's got to be a good chance.
100%. If it finds the peg line, you've got to be on the pegs to be a real life hope at Melton. If it couldn't get across and has to probably race one off, it probably dents its chances. But if it can get across, right in it, Don't Tell William, and they'll see the best of him.
Yep.
Now we touched on Mildura Harness Racing Club last week, and obviously we got the meeting on Tuesday night. Coming up this week, so there'll be no doubt 11 or 12 races there, as there always is. But they had their awards presentation. They had a week off, and they had their awards presentation. And Wayne Hill and Jaden Bruin featured. They just featured prominently. They said, SA boys come over. It's basically, it's our second home, you could say, Mildura. But, we're going to get into it. And I think he's going to be on the show maybe next week, Jaden.
Yep.
We've got one question for him, I believe. What happened at Renmark? That's all we've been told.
We have to ask that question.
I don't know, and we'll leave it at that. Something happened at Renmark, because I'll go on record as saying that Jaden, you're out to Wayne, is that correct, on Monday? Such and such has just rang from Renmark for you. So hopefully we don't get either party in trouble. But I was actually driving back on Two Horse Road, and they were only making their way home at 3 p.m. They were supposed to be at Globe at 5 o'clock. And I tell you what, I asked Wayne the next morning, I said, what time do we finish? And it was, let's just say early hours.
Early hours?
It might have been similar time as what they rocked up back to Gawler.
Well, the success they've had at Mildura, mate, I think is fantastic. But I've been going up there for you a bit over the last 6 months with your dad. And I tell you what, people at Globe Derby, we should take a bus up there of Globe Derby participants and show them how friendly and how well people get on at Mildura. You walk around with your horses and take them for their wee when you get there, and you say good day to 15 people on that journey. And then if you've got a horse in and you're struggling because someone said time to get in the parade ring, you've got 2 or 3 people come over and help you gear a horse up. It is just the most relaxing place to go and take your horses, and the racing's really competitive, but you win a race and there's congratulations coming from everywhere.
100%.
And I just wish we could emulate that here.
Michelle McGinty-Wilson does a great job there.
Yeah.
And I was talking to that as well. Like we got the transport company, Valley Horse Transport, and that only it pulled up.
Here is going to sponsor.
Yeah, we'll be on there. So we actually, and that was a result of what happened last week. We pulled up there to do a changeover at Mildura. She opened the gates, come in anytime, ring us. They just want to make you feel well.
Yeah, they do.
They're a great club. So we'll no doubt bring you an update on Mildura next week as well. But just quickly, the last thing, just in general news, and we'll just skim on it quickly. We talk about the big races coming up in the spring. We're only 3 weeks away now from the Victoria Cup in harness racing, the Pride's Easy Fee Victoria Cup. I'm working on Prides as well for this show to get them on board.
Good.
They're a very good supporter of ABR.
Yeah, you're a good supporter of theirs.
Yeah,
mate.
both, vice versa. But early favourite, Tiger Tara, been a bit hit and miss with his form.
Yeah.
But when he gets to Melton, Victoria Cup, I thought he's short enough, $2.75. Chicago Bull's the interesting one at $8, whether they make the clash, because we talk about Danny and Wayne and Chris and James at McDonald. The Bull versus the Tiger, that'll be a clash of the spring. So in harness racing terms, so we look forward to that. But plenty to get through. Let's get straight on with our runners to follow. And that is, let's get on to our first segment, 3 wide, no cover. All right, 3 wide, no cover. So this is week in, week out where we find our unlucky runners for the week. And last 2 weeks I've been unlucky. I've tipped you Ace to play. I've tipped you Glenferrie Bunter. Ace to play was third at big odds. Glenferrie Bunter was fourth, and I probably should have won the race. I probably a little bit short odds. It was a drop in class.
I did take your lead on that race, mate, and unfortunately I left with the elephant in your pockets with that one.
I can't. Yeah, well, we'll leave it at that. I don't want to say too much, but
probably should have won.
Probably should have won. Let's all just say that, you know. But
going well.
Big clash this weekend. Race 5 at Globe Derby. My two 3 wide no cover horses the previous week clash. Ace to playing Glenferrie Bunter. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that you go a box trifecta. Right, it's a tough race, but go a box trifecta. Ace to play Glenferrie Bunter in the field. Just there you go. Just see how you go. Wayne back on Glenferrie.
In that order, or are you taking the top
box,
two to first?
No, box. Just a box. Box 3. So I'll do it. Let's have some of your 52,000 you won on the first 4 that you want to gloat about. But our 3 wide no cover this week. I'm going to mention 2 here. I'm going to mention, and I don't like doing it, but I'm going to mention one of our own that raced on the weekend. And we talk about Adam Trinder earlier in the show that got some abusive text messages after the race. I got abusive text message from none other than yourself.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, all it said was, really? The way on the tactics adopted on Ala Vitesse on Saturday night that you own, major shareholder in. Yep. But I tried ringing you to put those...
no answer.
No answer. The owner didn't answer, didn't want to talk to me.
Nah.
So I sent a group update. Everyone responded, all other 9 owners of the 10, except, or 9 connections, that there's plenty of owners in there, there's probably up to 30. Everyone responded except yourself.
Yep.
Still dirty on it.
Sometimes
I rang you at 11 o'clock Saturday night.
Yeah, what'd I do?
Yeah. Absolutely the rudest spray I've ever copped on me. Sorry, none better than Swan Hill. That's still the best I've copped. I'm going to put it as my 3 wide no cover for that very reason, and Wayne will support me on this. Everything he tried to do, he tried to go forward, he couldn't get forward. He went back, he had all the horse in front of him, tried to come out at the
I'm not blaming the driver.
Please explain.
Well, he said he was driving to him straight.
Oh, here we go. So for that very reason, we'll say no more, right? Like we said, we'll say no more. Everything we tried to do in the race didn't work out.
No, that's true.
So she'll be in at Mildura on Tuesday, and I'm going to put her as our 3 wide no cover.
Yep.
The other one is Matt Cruiser, out of the Luke O'Neill camp.
Yep.
Watched the way it hit the line in the free-for-all on Saturday night. Ryan drove it. Got a good relationship with this horse, Ryan. He's getting it settled, getting it away from the tapes very well. Obviously, Ryan's very good at the standing start.
Yep.
But goes over the line, plugs in, and Ryan was come back very pleased with the horse. And anyone that knows anything about harness racing would have seen the run of it on Saturday night.
Yeah, and Luke's got his horses going
100%.
Quite well at the minute. And I've been following Matt Cruiser for his last 3 or 4 starts, and he's just not having the luck that he needs. He's either getting taken on when he has led over the short, and the time he did find the lead really easily, it was probably 400 metres too far. Yeah. So he's ready to win a race, no doubt. Very good selections there.
Yeah, he'll come into his own in this claiming series. I know the claiming series comes over the longer trip, but if Ryan can get him to settle somewhere in the rut, Matt Cruiser will feature right in that 17 grand
agree
final.
with that.
So, we'll continue to find those unlucky runners, both here and interstate, and that's what we try and do for our viewers. So, or at least start a conversation like you and I did, and it took me 5 hours to be back talking to you Saturday night. So, I'm pleased we're back on civil terms anyway, but I did
have an excuse, mate. My son played in a premiership on Saturday, and it was either take the pats on the back from the players for being such a good assistant coach, or talk to my nuffy trainer.
We'll leave it at that. Anyway, thanks to Punt Club for their support of 3 wide no cover segment, and of all 3 segments as well. So of the 3 codes. But we'll move on now with our special segment, In the Money. Now we're back with In the Money. The segment sponsor this week is the Fluoro Milk, Clay Mods and Kimmy K. Good mates of yours, Rob.
Yeah, they are.
Do a great job there. So In the Money, we're always on the lookout for horses to keep following. And again this week, I reckon I found one of my old horses that went down to Tassie.
Yep.
I don't know if the boys will like me. They're a great group of owners, still got horses with me, but this horse here, trained by Ryan. We talked earlier about wanting Ryan's team just starting to fire back up again.
Yep.
He does a great job with his team as well. But I'm going to go the way of Shadow Control for my In the Money this week. Been big odds its last few. Was 33rd on Monday, went $28. Always sort of looms into the race and looks like the winner. But I note on Monday it's in Noms. The fields aren't out obviously when we go to air here. But Ryan back on and going to be drawn favourably, I believe. Just watch this space, I reckon. He's only 1-4 from 110, so it sounds like it's not even 4%.
I'm thinking he mates with Ryan, Your mates with Tyson, and you just had a brain fade.
No, watch this space. It's ready to win.
Rightio.
Okay. Great group of owners and punters and collectors.
I hope it wins for the boys.
No, it only got beat a metre, and Sam Pascoe's actually got this horse going really well. It's actually running very well for Sam Pascoe. They're driving at sit sprint. So Ryan back on board. If it doesn't go any good, he might put Sam straight back on. But no, that's my in the money this week. I had Marangi track last week. Marangi track. So we haven't seen him since. Don't know where he's gone.
He'll race Tuesday.
He'll race Tuesday, but if the free for all stands up. That's mine this week, Shadow Control in the money.
Good on you, mate.
Anyway, we'll be. Let's move straight along to my runs of the week, which we spoke about. So let's go to our segment now, Run of the Week. All right, we're back with Run of the Week now. So our segment sponsor, Punter Harness Racing Club, and I got two, but I've only mentioned two because they're out of the one stable, and we spoke about it earlier in the evening. Claire Goble, she had a double on Saturday night with Smackwater Jack and Canada Bay. Smackwater Jack, very impressive, I probably could say. Been knocking on the door to win and didn't get things its own way. If you watch the replay, and we'll cut to it a little bit here where it shows it's last at the bell.
Pressure on this leader. One out, one.
And 20 off the leader. And then it's still 15 from at the 400. 4 wider in the last bin, which at Globe Derby is not easy.
Used to run on. Long Tan Casanova behind those, and on the inside, battling away, Doug's Limousine. Steinman in front. Smackwater Jack continues to come at it though. Steinman in front. Smackwater Jack gets it. Smackwater Jack beats Steinman.
No.
Like if you're last at the bell, you've got to make up a lot of ground. And the leader went 58.4. It's probably broke 57 off the track. And it ran through the line this week. Again, we touch on Sam Pascoe driving Shadow Control. She's driving very well at the moment, Sam Pascoe. And those sort of horses, the sit sprint horses, do run for her. She does get the best out of them. So
probably the only knock for me with Smackwater Jack, mate, is he hasn't got super speed out of the gate. So
not as versatile.
So he's not as versatile. He's, even if he draws 1 or 2, he's not going to lead. And if he's out wide, he's got to go back. So he needs a lot of luck in his races, and you'll get it one day. And I'm sure, I think it's a very good selection into the runs of the week. But he's just one that you wouldn't take the shorts on him. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, I think the shorts were offered the week before and he got beat. But he backed it up and probably a little bit longer price. But this Saturday night he's drawn barrier 7, so he's not going to get things his own way. And he's going to have to be back in the field again because he can't go forward. If he was to sit park, that's where he probably struggled.
That's right.
Obviously, full credit to Claire, done a great job. And this horse has come from WA. The other one is Canada Bay. And I just want to talk about this a little bit. The driver, Ken Rogers, and we'll watch here. They've only gone 500 metres, and he skipped away 50 after dispatch. And then coming into the straight the first time, he saw an opportunity. So he was back 4 or 5 pairs back, and Regal Knight wasn't filling its position on the back of Futurist. You'll see him take the inside run. So he's risking being 3 fence on one of the fancied runners. He's taken the opportunity and squeezed out 250 metres later, which we'll see on the footage here, and got one out 2 back on the back of Futurist.
Attack on, he's only about 10 metres away behind Regal Knight. Out in front though, it's Magic Trump leading the way by a full sulky's length. Julie.
That one in the race, 2 laps out. If you've ever seen a driver win a race 2 laps out, that was it. Because then he did not leave Futurist's helmet until Norman's Gate and won well.
Canada Bay goes quickly, pokes his head in front. Futurist is in for the fight though. Behind those trying to run on was Better Have Time and also Regal Lager. Canada Bay in front of Futurist. Futurist trying to kick back, but Canada Bay's got a long neck in front, and Canada Bay will beat Futurist.
Will. No, he can do that. When he's ready to drive a race, mate, he can drive it.
So that's my other run of the week, not only for the horse, but the driver. That's probably the drive of the week. So but I've featured them both there. But probably don't have to watch the concluding stage. We touched on, it's the part that wins the race is 2,000 metres out, basically. Or, sorry, 1,700 metres out. So my runs of the week, Smackwater Jack and Canada Bay, Claire Goble, team on fire. Anyway, we're going to go to our last segment, Trial File. All right, back with Trial File now. So just a little segment we've added in from episode 1, and we just like to find one from the trials. And I tell you what, we think we found one, and we got the Culture King beat last week, but that was it. Poor bugger. He'll sleep for a month of Sundays after his run. But what about when I rang you on Sunday morning after the trials? I always ring you if you don't make it out. And I said we had one trialling in the race, Big Bang Lenny, which I said to you at the time. I said if I said to you Big Bang Lenny broke 2 minutes, Rock, what would you say? What did you say to me?
I said you'd be lying.
Yeah, I was delusional.
Yeah.
He broke 2 minutes. Problem is he got beat 65 metres. That was a true fact.
I tried to put that in my head because I was laying on the couch watching a bit of footy and you finally rang me. Usually ring at 10:30, but you still had the shits from Saturday night and rang me about 3 and said she went very, very well on the trial. And then when you said it got beaten 65, all I could picture in my head is, how far is 65 at the Gawler track? And you're happy with it, but then I watched the replay. That thing didn't slow down.
We haven't mentioned his name yet, but my Papa Bear, what about the sectioners appeal? Dean Girardi drove it for Michael Harding, first up from Perth. So we had Jake on the first episode talking about Three Kings as a lowly assessed horse. My Papa Bear was actually in the same stable as my Three Kings over there, come over on the same truck. So he's only had it all of 5 or 6 weeks. But it peeled the first half in 58-1. Thought, Big Bang Lean doesn't run that for his second half, so they're going to slow up here, I hope. No, we just get quicker. We go home our last half in 57-4, 28-9, 155-5 for the 2070. Mind you, not the mile around Gawler, for the 2070. Talk about the Gawler Greyhound track later being returned over. But
I know. And someone tried to take the gloss off it and say, well, it's just a leader in Perth. It's only ever been able to win when it led.
Won't matter where it draws first up. It'll be it's a 55 rating.
It was like Dean Girardi being told there's only one bacon and egg sandwich left.
What about Dean Girardi's comments when he got off the track? I never let it go.
Oh.
I calculated the time, and I know it's spending a little bit of time on it, but it is some run.
It is.
155.5. So we work our horses at the Gawler track in about 240 over the 2000. It's run 227 for the 2070. It was because before that it was a lead time of 32.
Yeah.
The 155.5 was its last mile, not its mile rate.
Ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Trial fault. You
Looking
won't
forward
find
to going
any
to the
better.
races.
My Papa Bear, you'll get $1.04, but take it. Better than bank interest at the moment. Anyway, that's our segments for the harness show. It's been a great harness show this week. We've got no special guests. We have had Jake and Wayne on the show, but we've got Jaden Bruin and Justin Bruin in the wings, I believe, next week.
Yep.
So we might get both of them on the show
That'd be
together.
good.
That'd be a good show.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And spend a bit of time with them. So, and just talk about their involvement in harness racing, SA, and also a possible move back to Victoria.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing that.
About.
I spoke to Justin for a little while on Monday and said he'd sold up and looking to go back. I don't know where he's going, but if I was him, I'd be heading straight up around the Mildura area where he's got Agan, Terrain, Swan Hill, Mildura.
Might be heading to Charlton.
Might be heading to Charlton?
I don't know, I haven't heard. I'm just saying, not a bad little facility there. And Greg Norman's doing a great job there as well.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
You know, all in all, it's they do a great job with their horses, and look forward to getting them on the show as a guest next week. So, Rocky, it's been a great harness segment of racing, pacing and chasing, and as always, hope we can find you a winner out there to the viewers, and one or two at value. So, but thanks again, and again to our sponsors, the Kapunda Harness Racing Club, and also the Prince Albert Gawler. It's been a great show, and we'll be back this time next week. And welcome to our chasing show this week of racing, pacing and chasing. I'm Aaron Bain and I'm joined by my co-host Rocky Butterworth. Thanks for joining me, Rocky.
Good to be here, mate.
Now we talk all things greyhound racing on the show this week, and we'll go into a bit of general news and then our AB Kennel Watch, which was still self-proclaimed.
Yep, we've got a very good special guest this week too, mate.
100%. We look forward to getting Sean Nowak on a bit later. So, club manager of the Gawler Greyhound Racing Club, and they are our sponsor of this segment week in, week out. They're doing a fantastic job, and we talk about the great racing, the Group 1 racing we're leading into, the harness racing of the spring and into the summer carnival. But we've got the Gawler Cup coming up as well with them, and we look forward to promoting that as we get closer, and it's a great Group 3 race every year.
Have Roaming Cotton out there, mate.
He'll be there, the king of the north. We look forward to getting him, and we might even talk to Sean about getting him at the box draw. So, anyway, quite an interesting concept I just want to touch on before we talk about the about Adelaide Cup and Gawler Cup. But on Sunday at Sandown we had the Speed Star, and probably not your forte, is it, the Speed Star? No. You're more the long distance. You're more the Tornado Tears over the 7:15. Just keep coming. But
the good concept of this, mate, there's only one to beat, and if you get your elbows going in the right direction, mate, you generally win.
So the concept of the Speed Star, a great little race, but on Sunday at Sandown Park, we saw 40 greyhounds, some of Australia's fastest greyhounds, and a speed freak in the winner, which we'll touch on. But 8 greyhounds split into 5 races. So over the 5:15, 5:95, and also the 7:15. So there's been qualifiers leading up to this, and the concept is that they race off against each other, and then they obviously into the final series as well. So there was one Group 3 in the qualifiers. There was one Group 3 final over the 5:15, and this is basically, just to go back, this is Greyhound's answer to the 2020 cricket, and I know it was discussed in the gig earlier in the week as well. Could harness racing come up with a concept, and I'll get your opinion in a minute on it, a concept to match the Speed Star or highlight racing, harness racing like that? But full credit to Racing, or Greyhound Racing Australia, for coming up with this concept, and we'll talk to Sean about it later as well if anything's on the horizon in South Australia. But races run every 8 minutes, so great viewing, and they're there, 2 dogs, bang, time trial type thing. And you can also break track records just in a 2-dog race, which is quite interesting. But
that's right.
None more impressive than Hooked on Scotch. So
big go.
And for it was something like 0.13 or 132 outside the track record at Sandown Park on a wet track. It was a rain effect.
I know. Did you see the track? It was slop. And I hear that dog may be coming here.
Yes, so it's coming here for the Adelaide Cup. It's actually favourite for the Adelaide Cup.
Okay.
So they've in early markets and obviously crunched in since Sunday, but it's $3.50 favourite for the Adelaide Cup. And
wow.
I think the trainer sent out a warning, watch out Adelaide Pup.
Yeah,
so
he did.
It's coming. So that was the Group 3 final over the 5:15. Then there was 2 consolations over the 5:15, Sweet As M and Steinbrenner as well. So they're both quality dogs in their own right. One other Group 3 final over the 5:95, won by Springbridge.
I saw its win, that was good.
Yeah,
impressive.
And then a bit of drama, you could say, or carnage, or had to work for it. In the Group 3 final over the 7:15, Tornado Tears was the world, it was $1.10 favourite to take out the series leading into the into the races. But it was actually a 2 times winner of the 5:95 event previously.
Yeah.
So great concept.
It is.
It's actually gone and won it in the past over the shorter distance, and now it's turned into a staying dog.
Yeah.
This dog, 45 starts, 28 wins, and $750,000 in prize money. Can you believe it?
It is outstanding for greyhounds to be able to earn that sort of money in prize money these days. I mean, I had one back in the 80s, mate. I won 11 races and we won 9,400.
Yeah. Good money back in those days.
Good money, mate. Yeah. Trainer got all that. But to win $750,000, that's like winning a lottery in the greyhound industry. And
to only have 45 starts. And you see, there's been a lot of dogs in recent time, not a lot, but there's been a good amount. I don't know the exact number, probably half a dozen that have won the $1 million, cracked the million. It's well on the way. I looked into it a bit more tonight. It's already favourite for the Top Gun on the 9th of November. It's a $2 favourite there. There's $75,000 to the winner. But the 2 weeks prior to that, so 4 weeks from now on the 18th of October, it's $3 favourite for the Sydney Cup. So not to mention, it's probably going to go on past that. It's well on the way to cracking $1 million, and probably when it does, that'll probably hang the curtains. But great dog, and we talk about Hooked on Scotch, favourite for the Adelaide Cup, but just impressive as Tornado Tears, both quality dogs.
Too right.
Now touching on the Adelaide Cup, so just looking at early markets, and we mentioned last week on the show about a dog called Sinachi. So he's certainly racing into some very good form at the moment. He's second favourite for the Adelaide Cup at $6. And we do build up into an exciting time of year at Angle Park. So Thursday night, obviously the show goes to air Friday morning, but we would have seen the running of the Derby in the Oaks. And next Thursday night we have the State of Origin series, and we build in towards the Adelaide Cup in a couple of weeks' time. So it's really starting to heat up at Greyhounds.
Are we going down there as well, mate?
Oh, well, no, we'll give our camera crew a week off there. Just greyhound racing in general, and we're looking forward to having that chat to Sean Nowak about that, because we'll talk all things racing, as well as the Gawler Gold Cup, which we'll get out there, no doubt. But probably time for Kennel Watch, eh?
Let's have a look at Kennel Watch, and you have a couple of runs of the week, mate, that you want to have a look at. First one, Road Travelled.
So this was actually on episode 1. I put it on there as my run of the week on episode 1, and then it got beat. I put the mockers on and it got beat. I said it was sort of Adelaide Cup bound, and it got beat the week later when I was watching it, the Criterion there. But it's still on track for the Adelaide Cup. It's $21, and it bounced back.
Road Travels, home and hose are out in the bin. First started Gawler, doesn't matter. Shot through's making good ground into second pleasing, but Road Travel wins by 6 lengths.
It said, I'm still here, I'm still a big contender. It was, it nearly broke the track record at Gawler, which we'll discuss with Sean, a track record that hasn't been broken for 16 and a half years.
Wow.
Now, the track had just been resurfaced, but to run 30-36 over the 5:31 at Gawler when the track record was 30:23, which was set back in 2003, it was impressive.
Yeah, and it's going around Friday?
Going around again Friday, trained by Stephen Brook at Lewiston, be pretty short Friday, but another dog, 30 starts, 12 wins. You know, maybe it probably can't compete with the hooked on Scotches, but to see if we can see a local dog at Lewiston make through the Adelaide Cup, that'd be a great achievement. For,
well, you can't die wondering, mate. If you've got a dog or a horse that you think it's going to be around the mark, and even if it finishes midfield, it's just such a thrill to have your dog, horse, pacer in the best races possible. So 100%, have a go.
100%. And so I was impressed with its run, and it's still, I'm not backing down that it can't feature somewhere in that Adelaide Cup field. Not saying it's a great, a massive contender, but once you're in that one of the 8 boxes, anything can happen.
Yeah.
As we know.
What about Kurt Lee, mate?
Kurt Lee, very impressive in a heat of the Derby last week on Thursday night, ran 29.50 at Angle Park.
On the turn, it's all Kurt Lee. Well clear over Alinga Mal, and Kurt Lee opens up for a massive win. Kurt Lee by 10.
This dog's won 15 from 23 in his career. Yeah, that's very quick. He's obviously, and by the time this show goes to air, hope he's probably won the Derby. Run and won. Be the one to beat in the Derby, and hopefully he has won. But trained by Glenn Rounds at Devon Meadows. So it's interstate dog, but it's a dog on the rise, and the way it won the Derby heat, watch it, and to win 15 from 23, it makes its own luck as well. Yeah.
And we'll close with your dogs to follow. Now, Dinah Carney, you did pick a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah, no, I put Dinah Carney in last week, and actually I was going to have the fantastic King of the North's comment, the fantastic jar, $20 we said for charity on Dinah Carney. It was actually scratched, so we stick with me. It's not in anywhere this week, but I hope all's well with Dinah Carney, but we'll watch this and then we'll have something on it when it follows. But Spring Taylor, I actually had as my dog to follow on the first episode as well. Stick with me, Rock. It again, I put the mockers on and it ran 4th at Angle Park the week later, but it's engaged at Murray Bridge on Sunday, race 6, box 8.
It'll be a bit weaker race.
Yeah, drop back, but it'll run some time around Murray Bridge. Watch it rip up, so it might well be the run of the week next week. It might move up a category, but stick with me, Spring Taylor at Murray Bridge on Sunday.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's my dogs to follow for this week. It's been a good little recap, you could say, and we look forward to building into the Adelaide Cup next week and reviewing the Derby and the Oaks. We'll no doubt have replays of both of those next week, and good luck to Connections there. But we've got a special guest tonight, and we better get straight to it.
Looking forward to it.
There's a lot to get through. Sean Nowak, club manager of the Gawler Greyhound Racing Club. So we'll be back after a short break with Sean. And welcome back to Racing, Pacing and Chasing. We're on our chasing segment with our special guest tonight, Sean Nowak, and welcome, Sean.
Thank you, Aaron. Pleasure to be here.
So, Sean, club manager of the Gawler Greyhound Racing Club, it's a. We were talking off show before. It's a full-time role.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So just go through maybe a little bit about the role itself and what's involved in the day-to-day operations at the Gawler Greyhound Racing Club.
Yeah, sure. So I was employed in 2014 to become the club manager for the newly developed venue. From there, the initial part was to make sure that the racing got off and going in the correct manner and everything like that. And then with the aim of creating more functions and making it a venue that people around Gawler and the surrounding areas wanted to come to. Not just for racing, but also to use it for social type events and everything like that.
You talk about the function centre, and it is quite that. We'll get to the racing shortly. Just want to touch on the function centre there. But we had last week Shane Collins off from the Gawler and Barossa Jockey Club, and they've got a great function centre there. But you and yourself have done a great job developing not only above and I heard you say before, it was once a tin shed, probably 3 or 4 years ago before the development. You developed upstairs, and now you're developing down under the facility as well.
Yeah, that's right. So Greyhound Racing SA put the money towards the whole venue to start with. They spent about $2.5 million back in 2014. Yeah. From there, the Gawler Greyhound Racing Club have just redeveloped the ground floor level and spent about $100,000 to make another function room, and also to help us to run race meetings downstairs if we are holding a function upstairs, or if we've got an overflow of people. So it's really great.
Upstairs can hold 200 people, I believe. Is that right? And
That's right.
What's downstairs? What's the
about 115.
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
about half the size. But a nice setup and very similar in regards to the way everything works down there, except you're on the ground floor rather than upstairs.
Yeah. So just going probably back to now, let's just drift over to the racing side. The track's just been recently redeveloped there, or resurfaced, you could say. What's the right terminology?
Yeah. So the track goes through a turnover about once a year, and that's only just recently happened, and that's really to return the cambers back to what they're meant to be.
Yes.
So with the track. During the course of the year, obviously sand movement through water and the dogs and everything else changes the track condition. So last week it went through a track turn and all the cambers were returned and racing was really good.
Really good. I think Road Travel certainly like it. He give the track record a fair shake.
He did. It was very close. So yeah.
And actually that track record over the 5:31 hasn't been broken for 16 and a half years.
No, it was fast.
I think he went 0.16 or something outside it. So I think he'd like to have another crack at it.
I think you might be right.
But just moving on. So how many race meetings at the track?
Run approximately 100 race meetings a year. So race 2 days a week at the moment, Tuesdays and Fridays. The only days we realistically won't race is if it's Good Friday or Christmas Day. So.
You're looking to expand on that, or is that your number? What's the future plans for the club?
Yeah, that's really the number, based on how many races you can have in South Australia through the 4 tracks, being Angle Park, Gawler, Murray Bridge and Mount Gambier. So we may pick up the odd one here and there, depending on what's going on at other tracks, but pretty much that's the number, 2 a week.
And greyhound racing in general in South Australia, how's that tracking? You know, there's a lot of, we're coming into the great season with not only the Adelaide Cup and the State of Origin, the Gawler Cup itself, and we'll touch on the Gawler Cup shortly, but how's greyhound racing in general tracking?
Yeah, pretty well. It's been growing over the last 5 or so years, so it's just been ticking along nicely. Greyhound Racing SA does a pretty good job of controlling costs and making sure money goes back into prize money. And so, it's in a strong position. With the greyhound adoption program and so forth, South Australia leads the rest of the country in making sure that greyhounds are readopted. So that's all important stuff for the greyhound industry.
Do you get involved in that as a club yourself directly, or is that just something GRSA do?
More GRSA do it, but we'll support the GAP program wherever we can. Have them along to different things, invite them, like for the Gawler show, which is held at the club as well. So if we can have them involved, well, that's great, and really try and make it a kid-friendly sort of environment as well, so that people can get close to the dogs and enjoy themselves.
We talk about the Gawler Cup, so that's coming up in October, I believe. So
3rd of November.
It's either late October, early November, so it has been pushed back to the 3rd of November. So that's got a very proud history. It was first run in its current format in 1983. It's got now Group 3 status.
That's correct.
It just seems to build every year.
Yeah, it's a great race and had some fantastic winners over the time. It sort of ties in nicely. It follows the Adelaide Cup, so some trainers from Victoria and so forth will come over for the Adelaide Cup and then stay for the Gawler Cup also. So it has a good following. Prize money about 45,000, which is a reasonable amount of money.
It's enticing enough to allow though, to really force those interstate trainers to consider staying for that extra week or two.
Exactly.
Any plans in store this year for the Gawler Cup? You know, like what can patrons on course expect to see if they attend, and I suppose entry in? What packages are there available?
Yeah, so upstairs in the Nixon Function Centre, we'll be running a buffet. That'll be pre-sold tickets, $30 a head, so very cost effective. Downstairs, we'll also have bars and TAB available. And some additional food, vendors there and so forth, kids entertainment, probably a local band playing in between races and everything like that, and just trying to make it a really fun event and get a good crowd along.
How many do you normally get along to a Gawler Cup?
Yeah, about 500 or 600, but we're hopeful that we might push up towards 700, 750 or so.
And talking about the downstairs redevelopment, will that be ready for the Gawler Cup, or is it?
Yeah, it is. It's already going. Okay. So we've operated out of it a number of times for race meetings currently, and we'll continue to.
Yeah, okay. Now I did. We touched on how much the cup's worth. We did talk earlier about the track record. I did say on the show last week, I joked that we're going to have a bit of a if you knew your dogs well enough or the track record, do you know the track record times? How well, if we do a quick quiz, do you know?
I would be absolutely useless.
Okay. We better not.
No, don't do it. I'll be embarrassed myself.
That we did touch on before, and I really feel that track record of 16 years that currently held by, and I'll tell you, Regional Image, but it's also joint held by It's Classified over the 531. Right. So of 30-23. You talk about the track resurface. We may, it'd be a fair achievement if we see that set off in the first time in 16 years.
Yeah, it would be fantastic to see some great racing. So
coming into the Adelaide Cup as well. So,
and there'll be some.
The Adelaide Cup and then the Gawler Cup.
Yeah, that's right. And the Adelaide Cup and the State of Origin next week will be fantastic racing as well at Angle Park. Yeah,
looking forward to that. We plan to get in there ourselves. But just on the last week as well, we saw talking about off topic of Gawler, but the greyhounds in general, the Speed Star at Sandown. Anything like that, could we run anything like that at Gawler? That's a great concept. 40 greyhounds.
That is an amazing concept. I think
it'd do a lot for Gawler in general. I think
it certainly would. Yeah, it's one of those things. Greyhound Racing SA are working on different types of racing,
like the State of Origin.
Like the State of Origin, and they've also, I suppose, separately from Gawler, you've got the straight track at Murray Bridge, which is new to South Australia again. So they've had they'll be growing that as well. So Speed Star at Gawler would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great concept, and we spoke about it earlier in the segment as well, in the greyhound segment. But in general, thanks for joining us tonight, Sean. It's been great to catch up. We'll do our best to get down there on Gawler Cup a night on the 3rd of November and get around and do a bit of filming and bring that back to our viewers here. We do say we've got 45 shows a year, so we'll no doubt try and feature as we get closer. We might get yourself back on, or one of the leading contenders, with one of the trainers leading into the Gawler Cup, really just to promote that and what's happening. So
well, obviously once the week. The qualifying's all done and the times are in and the box draw's done, so it'll be fantastic just to promote.
Where do you do the box draw?
It'll be done on track at Gawler.
So on the night of the heats?
It'll be done on Tuesday before the Cup.
So that's Tuesday afternoon?
Afternoon,
Okay. Well, we might have to speak to our elusive Piranha Media boss and come live to the box draw.
Be fantastic.
And maybe even run the show from there that night. Our recording crew, they may or may not like me for that, but we'll see what we can organise. So we did promise Shane Collins that we'll go to the Calcutta and we'll record it live from the Calcutta, so a bit of practice prior to that won't hurt him. But thanks for joining us tonight, Sean. It's been a great little interview, and good luck with everything happening at Gawler, leading into the Gawler Cup, and no doubt the club itself is in a great position to continue to prosper like it has in recent years.
Thank you very much for having me along. Fantastic. Thank you.
And we'll be back after the break. Thank you.